Hey there, this is Teresa. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon when you're watching this, where you're at. You know, we're in turbulent times and we're all trying to take care of ourselves and the people we love through them. A lot of emphasis these days on taking care of our bodies and staying healthy and drinking lots of water and taking supplements to build up your immune system. And all of that is great. I've been doing it myself. That's, in some respects, one of our best lines of defense against the coronavirus is if our immune systems are healthy and strong. For many people who have had their finances go into upheaval, maybe they've lost an income or a job or they're getting unemployment, there's a lot of people trying to take care of their finances and make sure they can make it through this uncertain time, this upheaval financially. And I get that. I've been doing the same thing. But this morning, what I realized is what I've been forgetting to truly care for is my soul or my spirit. Now, please know, I didn't think I wasn't caring for my spirit and soul. I have been taking time for my prayer and empowering readings and inspiring readings. I've been doing that. And then this morning, I really gave into it and totally just let myself, without any agenda or time frame, just to open myself to the God or creator of this universe who is at work through all of this, even if we cannot always see how or ways that's happening. I opened myself to doing exactly what these videos are all about supporting you to do, to anchor myself. When we're anchored, we're not like all over the place, you know, crazy people. Been there, done that. But we're anchored. And what are we anchored in? We're anchored in abundance. And by abundance, I mean that knowing that our souls know. Our souls know this truth. That we're part of something bigger than what we can see and what is facing us right now. It's like the river analogy that I've used on previous ones. There's this big river that began at the beginning of time with the Big Bang and is going to continue long after you and I are no longer here. And right now we're in the whitewater, a section of whitewater. And in the midst of that, we can't see the whole river, but we can trust that whitewater isn't forever. And the current of the river will carry us through. Anchored in abundance, that's something bigger, something more loving and generous and powerful and creative than you and I and our individual or collective efforts. I call that God. You could call it universe or spirit, higher power, whatever. And when I did that, when I let go of what I thought I needed to do, which included praying and taking care of my soul and meditating and checking that off my list and going on to something else. This is what I talked about yesterday. And I just gave myself to it. What I discovered was I had been giving myself the equivalent of a 15-minute neck massage instead of a full body massage for an hour or even 90 minutes. I had been caring for my soul, but not fully. It's a little like if I'm just so thirsty, maybe I've just been working out and sweating and I'm super thirsty, I'm thirsty. And all I was taking was like a sip instead of drinking all the water that I needed until I felt rehydrated and replenished. I see, Jennifer, you've come on as a massage therapist. Full body is definitely best. And so that's what I want to lead you into right now. Now, we don't have an hour, but I just want to create a space where I can support you, and together we can drink in life force energy, love force energy. We can anchor ourselves in the something bigger, something more loving than we can see that is going on right now. We can replenish our souls, our spirits. So to support you to do that, I'm standing right now. I'm actually going to sit down on my wheelie architect's chair here. And I invite you, Jennifer, to just sit back. If your legs are crossed or your arms are crossed, uncross them so that you're embodying an open stance. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the chair underneath your butt, on your back. Like physically, as you begin to take some long, slow, deep breaths in, perhaps closing your eyes, really feel the physical support underneath you that's holding you in this moment. The chair at your back and below you, the floor underneath you. Really, as you're breathing in, become aware of being held and supported in this moment. And just take those long, slow, deep breaths in. And as you breathe in your next inhale through your nose, be aware as you exhale that if you didn't exhale, if you didn't empty your lungs, you couldn't breathe in the very next breath of life. That the rhythm and flow of life has two parts. It has opening to receive, and then opening to release. So on your next inhale, just really let that life force, that oxygen flow into your body and allow it to spread to any parts of your body where maybe you're feeling some tension or some tightness. And then as you exhale, imagine releasing that, releasing that, releasing that. And now a little bit more relaxed and open. Breathe in again. In the Judaic Christian tradition that I was raised in, I was raised Catholic, it says in the book of Genesis that this breath that gives us life is the very Spirit of God, the very Spirit of the divine, that God is not out there in heaven someplace looking down at us, trying to teach us a lesson or anything, that God is right here with us, in us, in our very next breath. Imagine the intimacy of that. Wow. The creator of this entire universe that made mountains and the sun and the stars and trees, that same creative life force energy is right now flowing through you, present in you. And you inhale it, and then as you exhale that same energy out into the world to support those who need it. But before we can support those who need it, we first have to be supported and receive life ourselves, to use it, and then we can release out into the world. I invite you to just relax a little more with every exhale. And on your next breath, in case your mind is still like going, yeah, go, 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 go. When you breathe in, breathe that breath all the way up to the top of your head. And as you exhale, imagine all of those thoughts, all of that things that you need to do. Imagine exhaling it out, letting it go, and your mind starting to relax and quiet and empty. Now you may need to do that a few times. So on the next inhale, breathe that breath all the way up to the top. And then as you exhale, imagine all that chatter in your mind, the fear, whatever, exhaling it out, letting it go, and emptying and quieting your mind. As you do so, on this next breath, I invite you to just begin to bring the focus of your breath to your heart space. You might want to put your hand on your heart as I am doing. Right here, that spirit of God, the spirit of the divine, the source of life is right here in your heart, enveloping your heart, filling your heart. Sometimes we want to shut down our hearts because we don't want to feel the feelings that are there. In these days, there may be fear, there may be loneliness, there may be anxiety, there may be loss, there may be sadness. And yet when we shut down our heart, we cannot also feel the love and the peace and the joy and the hope that is in our heart as well. We have a tendency to judge feelings as good and bad instead of just emotions that give us information, energy that needs to stay in motion, emotion. And so I find it helpful when I'm having those feelings that are harder to feel or I don't like to feel. I just imagine this breath, the Spirit of God, just enveloping my heart and just holding them and embracing all of those feelings, all of them, and embracing me. And now, my friends, I invite you with your next breath to drop deeper to a place that you may not even realize is there within you, and it is. In the midst of all that may be going around you, deep within you, in your soul, there is a place where you can experience peace. You can tap into peace and stillness. To help you do that as you continue to breathe right into your heart, even deeper than your heart, I want you to just imagine a beautiful lake or pond in the early morning that's perfectly still. It's as still as a mirror. If you've ever been by a lake or pond in the early morning or late at night, but especially in the morning, when it's just so still, there's not even a ripple on the water. And all around you, there's this stillness and this silence. And you just sit there by this pond in this creation of stillness in the early morning. And it's like literally you become still. You absorb that. And the reason that you can absorb it and become more peaceful and still yourself is because that stillness around you is reverberating, resonating with that place within you in your soul, where in this moment you can experience peace. Just in this moment. Simply breathe in and see if you can tap into that place deep within you where you are still and present, like sitting next to a lake that's perfectly still in the early morning. And let's just spend a minute. Just spend a minute together, just breathing. Letting that life force fill you, connect you, anchor you in abundance and the peace that is deep within you. Always there, always there. But we must practice, 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 connecting with it. Now, I'm going to end this video in just a moment. And what I both challenge you and invite you to do is, even as this video ends, you take another minute or 2 or 3 or 5 and sit here. Simply be still. Don't stop at the 15-minute massage. Go a little longer. It is okay, my friends, to experience peace even in these turbulent times. In fact, these turbulent times are the opportunity for us to discover that peace is not dependent upon the externals. It's here within us, in our connection and our anchoring into that something bigger than us called God, Spirit, Love, Divine. So again, blessings on your day. Please, please, for your own sake, just another minute or 2 before you move on to the rest of your day. And I will be back here, same time, tomorrow.